How's it going today, everyone? This is KaijuFanatic bringing you a new figure review. Today we are looking at the SH Figurarts Type 23 Special Tactical Armored Kaiju Earth Garon from Ultraman Blazar. Let's not waste any time and take a real close look at this perfect figure. Here's the box first. It's a nice box. What do you want me to say? It's the box. Oh, there's the photoshopped photo. You know that only -1 did it. So, starting off with the detail, this figure looks like it stepped right off the screen. And I mean that to the T. The only thing that isn't accurate is technically these light gray bits don't have the painstakingly detail that should be sculpted on. So we're going to give it a pass there. The head sculpt is perfect. It looks like Garon. The ears, the antenna bit in the back, the mouth and jaw looks epic. And yes, the jaw does open very, very wide. I'll show that a little bit later. He's got the vent, which I'm guessing the suit actor can see through. I love the blue that they chose for this. I'm guessing with my color deficiency, this is probably like a navy blue. The whites are really white, and the orange is just this really, really cool military orange. Kind of reminds me of Halo a little bit with how the arm's set up. And all the sculpted detail in there, all the vents, the lights, the painting, the doors, these pistons here on the body that pretty much line up almost the whole time. It's very, very nice. The legs have more pistons, way more orange. It just looks really, really great. These Kiryu-styled toes that are nice. These pistons in the back that are made better than the Evangelion Unit 8 figure, which is very nice because those feel fragile as hell. The tail is done very, very nice as well. It's got detail going through where the joints are at, so it still continues the sculpt, which is super cool. As you might be able to tell, these doors do have hinges that open up with hitting your nail on the top of the back where the hinge is at, and they do open up revealing the missile containers, which is something I didn't think that they would put into, or it'd be a separate accessory later down the line. But instead, they engineered it very, very nicely. I will say that these joints feel slightly, I don't want to say fragile, but they're very, very easy to pop off. One of the doors popped off on me, and I do recommend that you just do it very, very nicely and slowly. They do peg right on, so I'm not too worried about it, but they're small enough to where if you're not paying attention, you're going to lose it. But they still look super, super nice. I'm very, very impressed with the aesthetic of this figure. I'm very pleased. The tip of the tail has a jet engine that's also orange. It's just super, super detailed, and there's obviously a lot of extra love that went into the design and the creation of this figure. Tamashii, you're blowing me away. Yes. Now for articulation, I can tell you guys with utmost certainty this thing has a lot of articulation. The head has a big range. The jaw has some of the most articulation in a jaw I've ever seen. His little antenna connector bit does move up and down to kind of help move with the neck. The lower neck here has 8 ton of range. You can move it all the way down so he can look at the ground, and it can move all the way up so when he's flying he can look straight forward, which is really, really impressive. Can turn side to side and twist side to side just where you need it, so he can be very, very emotive, which is what this figure needs. He's got different eyes and all that stuff. The shoulder pads here are very impressively designed. Looks like they took a point from the Robot Spirits line instead of the Dragon Ball line, and they made it a peg and a ball joint that's up, so they can actually move out of the way and get to the area where you need them to move the arm. The arm can twist 360. The arm can move up almost 90 degrees. It's got a bicep swivel, good elbow joint, and the wrists are like any other SHF wrist joint. They do have little divots there, and when you're moving the wrist, watch those circular bits. They will connect onto the wrist, so you don't want to scratch paint. Now, the double jointed waist here is very, very impressive. Feels like it's just 2 barbell pegs. They can go all the way forward, all the way back. So he's got a really good ab crunch and lean, and he's got a good twist here as well. I'm very impressed. Just be careful when twisting around that you don't cut the paint on those silver pylons. We know that the silver always chips easy. Now, the hips here are very, very impressive. When you first articulate them, they don't move a lot, but they do have the drop-down method from the old figures, making it to where they can almost kick all the way out, and they do go far back, considering he's got thick thighs. They do go out quite a bit, way better than Kiryu, and the thigh itself has a ball joint there that tilts and spins and moves around. The knees bend okay, and the angles are very interesting. So they've got this piston joint there that kind of limits it, but when you move it too far forward, you actually have to adjust the pistons here with the ball joints so they can go back down. You don't want to break that. You really, really don't, which it's made out of a more flexible material, so they feel a lot more durable than, say, Ava Unit 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12. And then you can actually pull it out if you just don't want to deal with it, and then you can fix it later in post, which is super nice. Here you can see it can be tricky, but you just take it slow, don't bend it too much, and you'll be fine. It's got good ankle pivot, and the ankles are done pretty nice. I'm very impressed with the articulation on this figure. The tail itself can move all the way down as well. It move pretty far up, but it can move side to side very much, almost like he's a dog that can wag its tail. Kind of interesting. Anyway, let's move on to the accessory. Starting off with this little mazer bit in the mouth, which is not called a mazer, but, you know, Godzilla. It can be a little tricky to push in, but once it goes in, it does fit. It also does have a line with the bottom of the mold in the mouth, and at the mazer that lines up. Now, it looks very nice, but there is one bad thing about it, is if you leave it in like I do, the mouth actually can't fully close all the way when the jaw's set into where it's supposed to be, so just be careful you're not rubbing paint. Now, he does have a chest cannon here. Here's the little bit. Looks pretty nice. You flip it up by grabbing that little thing, and there's a little hole in the chest. Push it in, and there you go. Now, it looks very good. Don't push it in all the way, though, because as I'm about to show you, this piece is pretty fragile. Mine already has a stress point after taking it in and out twice. So don't push it all the way in, just kind of recede it. With the hands, we have these relax hands that he comes on with in the box that look nice. He's got these gripping hands, which all kaiju should come with, so that is a huge, huge plus. He's got open, wide, you know, blasting hands or dynamic pose, and thankfully he comes with fists as well. This Earth Garon has just about everything. Popping off the hands are really easy. Just pull it off straight off the joint. Don't pull it off at an angle. Take your joint, line it up, hold it nice and tight, and boom, there you go. Next, we have a bunch of eyes here, as you can see. He's just packed with accessories. Very, very glad with these. He's got the red eyes, which look beautiful and definitely not a Kiryu reference. He also has these more angry, stern-looking eyes, which are very, very nice. He's got these confused / damaged eyes when he's getting hit. Super, super fun. And then he's got these happy, I'm a good puppy vibe eyes, which I'm very happy with. Now, switching out the eyes, admittingly, is a pain in the ass. You have to take this off. Sometimes they stay connected to the top. Sometimes they stay connected to the bottom. These are very, very tiny eye pieces. They have white painted on the other side, so they have translucent bits. They look very, very nice. As you can see, each one has a certain hole that goes into the head, so you have to line it up a certain way. They will not go in either side. They have their specific side. Here you can see I'm struggling to do it because they're very, very tiny. But once they're in, all you have to do is take the top bit, line up the peg holes on the top, which is thankfully very easy, and boom, there they are. Now, I did try to attempt to put them into the top piece before putting them into the bottom, and most of them just fell right out due to gravity. So I definitely don't recommend that at all. Now, on to size comparisons. Here it is with the SH Figurarts Shinkoho Seiho Ultraman 66 and the Robot Spirits Evangelion Unit 1 Thrice Upon a Time version. I love the scaling with these two. He's way taller than the Ultraman and still taller than the Evas. Up next, we have two SH Monster Arts figures. We have the Godzilla 72, which is slightly larger than him and bulkier, and then we have the SH Monster Arts Shin Godzilla Night Combat version, which very thankfully is way taller than him. I'm really liking the scale with these Godzilla kaijus, I'm going to be honest. Here he is with the Bandai Movie Monster Series -1 Godzilla and a Sara Jirushi Burning Godzilla figure from Winter Wonderfest 2023. Still liking the scale, not that he's supposed to scale with Safubi, but the Bandai's is impressively nice. Alright, my final thoughts. The sculpt and paint are wonderful. I love how the oranges clashes with the blues. It looks very, very nice. The sculpt itself is almost suit accurate with only the light gray parts being slightly off, but that would be a pain in the ass to sculpt, so I'm not going to hit them for that. So sculpt and paint, obvious 10 out of 10. The accessories and articulation, or the A's and A's as I'm calling it now, are also a 10 out of 10. It's got a ton of accessories, which is appropriate for the character, and the articulation is so well engineered, it makes everything else that comes before it and the things that have come after it a joke. admittingly, it's a joke. I don't know why there's so much love put into this figure, but I'm very, very glad that it is. So like I said, another 10 out of 10. So overall satisfaction, 10 out of 10. Like, if you guys just enjoy figure collecting, you need to get this. If you're a Monster Arts collector but not a big Ultraman fan, you still need to get this. You also need to get the mod pack that is currently available at Premium Bandai, and it won't be available for long, so make sure you get that for all the extra accessories for Garon and your Ultraman Blazars. That's the end of the review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you all very much, and I'll see you in the next one.